Welcome, sisters. Welcome to Return of the Priestess III, New Earth Rising. It is a joy to welcome you here to our first day of speakers. And I do hope you were able to attend the opening ceremony, but if not, no worries. It is recorded and available to you throughout the series. I encourage you to participate in that as part of your journey these next 2 weeks. So today we are going to begin our journey together on this day, really diving into the womb space and the sacred feminine energies. And I'm very pleased to be able to bring our first speaker on today. And as I like to do, if for those of you who are familiar with the series, you may know that I like to start each conversation with a few breaths to get us grounded, centered, connected with each other, connected with the space, and available for whatever we need to receive from the conversation, the transmissions, the activations. So I invite you, if it's safe to do so, go ahead and close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, let your attention tune inward. This is a time for you to give to yourself. And so let us breathe together now, a nice deep inhalation, opening into the space as we create more space to receive with that breath. And then as you exhale, allow the exhale to be a vehicle to release all of the other responsibilities and concerns of the day. Deepening your availability for this now moment as you breathe in, expanding into the light of this breath, this precious, spacious moment, and exhaling to release and surrender, settle into your sits bones, coming home to this now moment. And now on this third breath, we're going to breathe in, taking in the breath of life, expanding into it, receiving it fully. And as you exhale, extend that breath out to all the sisters all over this earth in this gathering. And as you do, notice the way you are receiving the breath and blessings from your sisters. We are one family all around this earth. One sisterhood, sacred brotherhood, holding space for the birth of the new earth. And in all time space, our intention to be of higher frequency assists all, lifts as we rise. And so taking one more deep breath in, and as you exhale, fully embracing this now moment, yourself, and your own heart and your own womb space. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Again, welcome. Today we are going to be speaking with Emmy Mutale, intuitive healer, shamanic womb priestess. And our conversation is reclaiming the primordial power of our wombs. And I even have chills as I'm saying that, because really, as we hold space for this new earth rising, it is as if Mother Earth herself in her own primordial womb is rebirthing herself. So let me share with you a little bit about Emmy. Dedicated to reawakening ancient feminine wisdom, Emmy creates safe, sacred spaces for transformation for women, enabling the emergence of authentic connection, profound knowing, and inner power. Raising the frequency of Mother Earth and fostering healing one womb at a time. Emmy is a best-selling author, and she's also the host of the Sacred Feminine Power podcast, which I have had the honor and pleasure of being interviewed on, and I know she's spoken with many sacred sisters all around the world. So I'm very excited to speak with her today. Emmy, welcome. Thank you so much for being with us again this year, as you were for our first series.
Thank you, Dawn. It's such a blessing to be with you again, and really appreciate this opportunity.
Mm. Now, you have been running your Sacred Feminine Power podcast for a number of years, and I'm sure that there is a rich array of insights that you have received and downloads, and I do want to get into that. And I want to begin, however, by inviting you to tell us a little bit about your journey, how you got to where you are. You've got a very interesting life situation as well, being from Finland, right?
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
living in Zambia in Africa, and doing this sacred womb work. So tell us a little bit about your journey from where you began to where you are today.
Sure. Well, I think I'd like to start by saying that I led most of my life very much from masculine energy. I was very much in this portal of constant doing, constant striving, wanting to reach bigger and bigger goals and trying to achieve bigger and bigger results,
Mm.
and completely ignored and really wasn't even aware of my feminine side and the importance of my feminine cycles and feminine energies. And I was just so wrapped up in this hamster wheel of doing and putting things into action and looking for external validation and this constant do mode, which of course is super important when we need to get things done and when we need to take action. But when you are constantly in that energy and you are ignoring this beautiful, luscious feminine side of yourself, you end up doing yourself a huge disservice. And that is exactly where I found myself. In fact, a few times I became completely burnt out. I my body started to speak to me in so many ways through my menstrual cycle, through various kinds of aches and pains, and just this terrible fatigue that was constantly present in my life. And it still took me quite a long time to start to understand what is actually going on here. But once I started to study and learn about balancing the masculine and the feminine energies within ourselves, that's when the pieces of the puzzle really started to come together. And I started to really value myself, my body temple, my cycles in a much more beautiful, much more sacred way. And once I discovered womb awakening, this is when things really, really started to shift for me, because I had been completely disconnected from my womb space pretty much all my life, despite the fact that I'd been pregnant 3 times and given birth 2 times. And even during the times when I was pregnant, I realized afterwards that I was connecting with my babies, but I wasn't connecting with my womb.
Mm-hmm.
And once I stepped onto the path of womb awakening, which is really about honoring and revering your womb space as the holiest of holies, as this beautiful sacred cauldron of wisdom and power deep inside ourselves, and started to harness the power of my womb and really listen to the wisdom of my womb, that's when I really started to step into my power and started then birthing my business, Feminine Revered, and all the offerings, including the Sacred Feminine Power podcast that then came along with that as well.
Wow, beautiful. So this is such a juicy topic. It's why I really wanted to begin, because everything begins in the womb, right? Everything of life. So that's why I chose to start with the sisters who were speaking about the womb, and particularly with you, Emmy. So let's talk a little bit about what makes our womb so powerful. Yeah, let's just start with that. How would you give voice to that? What makes our womb so powerful?
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, it is within our wombs that we create and nurture new life. And this in itself is a miracle. And we often overlook this fact. We've forgotten the fact that this truly is a miracle, that we are capable of birthing new life, creating new life within our bodies, within our wombs. Secondly, our wombs are really a beautiful bridge that connects us to the womb of Mother Earth, to the womb of Gaia, which is incredibly nourishing and nurturing, and that is always supporting us, always there to ground us and to feed us with the kind of energy that we need in any particular moment, and that we can work with very powerfully also to nurture and nourish ourselves. Our wombs also connect us to the great cosmic womb, which is the great primordial black hole from which everything, all life, has been birthed from. And that really connects us to the beautiful, expansive energies of creation, possibility, beauty, and opportunities in a very, very powerful way. And through that connection, it also keeps us connected to what we would call womb consciousness or collective womb consciousness, through which and within which we have all been born, including men. So we are all part, a beautiful, unique, sacred part of this collective womb consciousness. Our wombs are also, as I mentioned earlier, these incredibly powerful cauldrons for healing. And when we learn to work with these healing energies within our wombs, we can very quickly shift our frequency and our vibration within ourselves, and also use the healing powers of the womb to shift the vibration of those around us and of the collective on our planet. And it's such a beautiful thing to learn to work with the womb space in that manner and really start to expand the healing potential to cover our planet, Mother Earth, and even beyond that. And of course, our wombs are also connected to the cycles of nature and the cycles of the moon. And the more we learn to align ourselves and work with the cycles of the moon and the cycles of nature and this ongoing cycle of birth and death and rebirth, which also happens within our wombs through the menstrual cycle, as we shed the lining of the womb on a monthly basis. And then it nourishes itself back into being, miraculously comes back into being every single month. And the more we align ourselves again with our internal cycles and the cycles of nature, the more in our own power we are as well. And there's so many other things I could still say, but I think I'll pause here and we can bring in the other things later on.
Yeah. Oh, wow. This is so. It's really calling me to a couple of things. One is the recognition of how deeply disconnected so many women are from our wombs. Certainly in mainstream culture, there's been so much denigration of it, and perhaps we can go there. But I feel like the more interesting thing right now would be to maybe you could share with us, like, how do we work with our wombs? What are some ways that we can do that for birthing, for manifestation, for healing, and even for really activating the frequency to support Mother Earth's rebirth of herself?
Absolutely. Would you like me to take you through a process or explain how it works first?
Well, we still have some talking time, and I know you're going to do a process. So
Okay.
maybe give us some, like, even some examples of, drawing from the many women you've spoken with, your own sacred work, your clients. What are some giving us some ideas of how can a woman who says, like, okay, this sounds great. I really want to work with my womb, but I don't know how. What do I do?
Mhm.
Do I talk to it? Do I rub my belly? Like, what do I do?
Sure, absolutely. And this might feel really weird and perhaps even uncomfortable for some women in the beginning.
Yeah.
And if you haven't been doing this kind of work, but the invitation is there to really just allow yourself to relax into it and experience it as something new and beautiful. But one of the very, very basic things you can do, and this is also possible even if you've had your womb removed, if you no longer have the physical organ, because the energy of your womb space will always be with you. And the vibration of your womb will always be with you. So one of the most simplest things you can do is simply just place your hands on your lower belly. And you can simply place them like this around your lower belly, or you can also use the sacred mudra, the hand positioning, and place your hands like that over your womb space. If it feels safe, you can close your eyes and just take a couple of deep, deep breaths, relaxing into the moment, relaxing into your body. And with each breath, just allowing yourself to go deeper and deeper inwards. And then simply forming a connection with your womb. And you can start by saying hello to your womb. You can start by smiling at your womb space, greeting her, and just tuning into the energy inside your womb space. And depending on how you are wired, you might actually feel the energy, you might sense something, you might see colors, you might see some symbols, you might even hear something from your womb space. And as you've tuned into your womb space, you can either ask the womb for a message, ask her a question, or you can simply ask her how she's doing and if there's anything she needs in this moment. And if this feels difficult at first, I encourage you to keep doing this, because the more you practice, the more your womb starts to speak to you. And she has been waiting for you to connect.
Wow, such a simple thing, like just saying hello and do you need anything? And then listening.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And then just allowing your womb to speak in however way she wants to speak.
Beautiful. So I want to talk about the feminine cycles, and there's a few things I'm going to touch on, and then whatever interests you most, dive into that. So I'm thinking about, first of all, the way we are actually in our grandmother's wombs to start, because when our grandmothers hold our mother, that the females have all their eggs intact when they're born, which means that each of us was held in our grandmother's womb. And there's something to me that's very special about that. So then there's the maiden years before we're bleeding, and when we're really getting the imprints of what the world is. And to me, I see, having been in such a patriarchal, hierarchical dominator culture for so long, and emphasis left brain, emphasis doing rather than being, that's already setting the template for a disregard of the womb. There's not a connection there. And young girls, few of them have a sacred rite of passage to their menses. It's more like a negation of, oh, I'm bleeding, oh, I got, these issues, these problems. And that leads to things, or not that it leads to, but what's leading in my mind to many women I've known who've had a lot of pain in their moon cycles, and some of them with endometriosis. My mother has had endometriosis, and this sort of chronic debilitation frequency that's aligned with a cycle that happens every month for a woman for most of her life, for a large portion of her life. And then there's the croning time, or what I call the queen years now, because I feel like a crone, we live a long time now, and I am a menopausal woman. I haven't bled in 5 years, 6 years almost, but I don't feel like a crone. So I feel like she who holds my blood within. And I have these are my years of big action. And then there's the really elder woman. But I do notice that I'm different. The womb space, the yoni, all of that is different now in my menopause. I don't have all that juice and desire for sexuality like I used to. It's very soft and very different energy. So I'm curious what your reflections are on any or all of those aspects of a woman's cycle.
Beautiful. I really am drawn to the very first thing that you mentioned around us already existing inside our grandmother's wombs, because it brings so beautifully in the knowing that we are so connected to our lineages. We are so connected to our mothers and our grandmothers and great-grandmothers and great-great-grandmothers, and way beyond that, all the way through to the very original blueprints of humanity. And through our wombs, we can actually connect with that wisdom, with that knowing that comes through the lineages. Our wombs literally are portals into our lineages and into other dimensions as well. And what feels important to mention here is that because we were inside our mothers and our grandmothers' wombs at that early stage of our development or existence, really, is that it's been scientifically proven now that when we are within the womb space, we pick up the emotions and the energies and the vibration of our mother.
Yeah.
And if our mothers go through any kind of trauma, any kind of wounding, any kind of experiences that deeply affect them, the fetus will pick that up as well. And the knowing that we are already inside our grandmother's wombs gives it even more depth because we are already picking up on the vibration of our grandmothers and the experiences she has gone through.
Yeah.
So within our womb spaces, we often carry wounding and trauma that is not even ours. It's taken on from our mothers, from our grandmothers, and way beyond that as well. And often the kind of trauma or the wounding we carry inside our wombs can subconsciously block us from leading our best lives and can subconsciously block us from really stepping into our power.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we also pick up the beauty and the wisdom and the beautiful good things as well that come through our lineages as well. But it felt important to mention that we do often carry grief and trauma within our womb spaces that is calling for us to clear and heal that as well. And when we do that healing on ourselves, we are then also healing those who came before us. So we're doing beautiful ancestral lineage clearing. And we are also stopping the buck and stopping the trauma from affecting our children.
Yeah, beautiful. So this kind of leads me into, I'm going to riff a little bit here and tie a few threads together. Women who suffer with their menstrual cycles, we can look at the outer world up until fairly recently. Well, for many women still who are not connected in the sacred feminine space in any way, shape, or form, they're still operating from the male paradigm, which is that normal is a healthy male body, which means a female body already is one down. And then add to that we might be carrying ancestral wounding. And then it only makes sense that this menses cycle, with it being denigrated and blood and it's dirty and it's all of that, we know what the package there is, becomes a painful experience. And so here's what I want to say to this. With a degree in women's studies from many years ago, there was really a focus on, at that time, and maybe still today in the sort of feminist space, this is patriarchy. This is about men denigrating women. And honestly, Emmy, I have come, especially in the last 2 years, to a really different perception of this. That patriarchy, male domination, the domination of the masculine over the feminine, actually doesn't do any favors to men either. They're also have to be carried in their mother's wombs. Hello, but that actually this is a more that there's something about the denigration of the feminine womb, the portal of creation, the portal of lineage healing, the power of the womb, and the creative potency of the womb space. That's actually, not to put too strong a point on this, but an attack on humanity itself. That this is about the denigration and a disregard for humanity that comes from something that is not necessarily organic or human, let's say. And so we know that right now, one of the things that's happening is that so many women are experiencing challenges with their menstrual cycles at the moment. And I'm wondering, we're going into some challenging territory here for some people's paradigm, but I think this is the space to talk about this, that we are here to be the birthers of the new earth. And if we are ignoring an attack on the feminine reproductive system, then we are absolutely doing la 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 la. And it's a hard paradigm to break, but I'm wondering if you would want to speak at all into that topic.
Absolutely. And you've grounded it so beautifully already. But you are so correct. I mean, what is happening at the moment is a continuation of centuries of patriarchal oppression and patriarchal pushing down of women's power in a very systematic, in a very fully thought through manner. And a lot of it has been focused specifically on those parts of women that are really the symbols, the centerpiece of femininity, including the womb space, including the yoni, including the breasts, and which have really become symbols of sexual desire and pornography related focus for such a long time. And we really have been led to forget our power and the power of the feminine body and the miracle of birth. And what is happening at the moment in terms of the injections, if I can use that word, that are being administered and people are being coerced into taking them. Some are taking them willingly. But what is happening because of these injections is they are actually, this has now been proven through many scientific studies as well, a lot of it is actually concentrating inside the ovaries. And therefore, as you say, really directly attacking that power of creation within women. And that's also because it is also interrupting and changing a lot of women's cycles. In fact, whether you have been jabbed or not, a lot of women are seeing and noticing changes in their cycles. I went through that myself. The whole month of January, I had no bleed. And that is very unusual for me. And I have not taken the jabs and never will. But it seems like there is something very, very powerful, man-made, and I underline the word man-made in this case, that is really has been almost like leashed on women and on humanity overall in order to target the most sacred place, sacred symbol and sacred energy of feminine power and of women. And when you start to look at it from that perspective, it really is quite chilling. And I have goosebumps all over me, even just talking about this, because it really is this continuation of a paradigm that has kind of intensified in force. And now that we are seeing patriarchy really crumbling in front of our very eyes, and we're seeing the systems and structures that we are so used to trusting and putting our faith in and just, regarding as the norm, the systems and structures that are so part of our lives from the time we were born, they really are crumbling. And there's a lot of people who are shaking in their pants at the moment because things are crumbling. And that probably is also partially why there is such a concentrated, such a powerful attack on humanity and on women specifically through this. And of course, men are also affected by the jabs. Their reproductive system is also affected, although I haven't seen as many studies on that yet, but it does seem that way as well.
Yeah, it seems like the myocarditis and the heart, men, especially athletic and men with strong hearts and cardiovascular systems, that's where it's taking them out.
And young men, very young men and boys really as well, which is, it really is criminal.
It's criminal, and it seems, it's very anti-life. So what's coming up for me here is this sense that we know that we have been extremely out of balance on this planet, and that the feminine, what I call the feminine ray of the divine, is now reemerging on Earth. And it has been led by the females to start, but it's also emerging within men, because we are both masculine and feminine. We are both active and receptive. We are both critical thinking and intuitive feeling. And we have been so truncated because that part of us that actually knows truth has been pressed down, like you said, systematically. And it's almost as if it's not almost my theory, this is my opinion, that the powers that have benefited, very small, think of a pyramid, very small few on the top, extremely wealthy, benefiting off of all the suffering, energetically, financially, etc. They recognize that with this feminine ray rising within the hearts and minds of humanity, that spells the end for them, because we will start to see the truth. because we will feel it and know it in our beings, and we will trust our inner guidance rather than the left brain, which sees everything as separate and can't intuit it. So it feels like there is definitely an attack on the feminine ray. And of course, that would include the womb, the reproductive organs, and anything that that would support this organic, natural, higher frequency rising to rebalance us so that we can be whole, so that we can live on a more higher frequency new earth. That makes sense?
Absolutely. That resonates so very strongly. And really the focus on the heart, which is really where the vibration of love really emanates from. And isn't it so very intriguing that it is the womb and the heart that seem to be at the forefront of the targeting here?
Yeah, the womb. This is just hit as you said that about the heart. It just dropped in because the divine feminine awakening in men. What might that look like? And a reactivation of the heart space. Whereas we as women have often, for most of us, have had some level of permission, we could say, to be in the heart. So, but what we do in the womb space, that's where the deep power and the wisdom and the grounding and the connection comes. So, wow. And women, the womb, women having menstrual issues and men having heart issues. This is the pretty wow grok I'm having right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh, so where do we go from here? Let's see. Well, maybe we just sit for that for just a moment. And I want to just honor and acknowledge and recognize that there are many sisters here who will watch this, and brothers who already know, they're totally tapped in. They know exactly this is going on, despite the fact that many of us who've been sounding the alarm for 2 years now have been considered conspiracy theorists, tinfoil hat wearers, blah, blah, blah. We know what that story is. But I also want to acknowledge those for whom this may be new information, and just to invite you to just sit with it and receive for a moment without just rejecting offhand that this is not the dominant paradigm conversation. This is the deeper conversation that is beneath and behind what we see on the screens of the superficial world that we've been living in. Because that's the world that's starting to crumble, except if you're looking only at the screen, you can't see that yet. But many of us have been feeling and knowing that something was going to happen for years, and we've been preparing for it, not knowing the specifics, but now seeing and witnessing and alchemically transmuting what we have what we are uncovering. So I want to invite those of you who, if this is new information for you, or if it's something that you've not really touched into, to just hold the space here with us and just feel into being present, regardless of any discomfort, because we'll move now. We're going to shift. These are things for each of us to come into our own truth about through going beyond the veil of the front of what things are told to us and going deeper within. So let's go to that journey now, Emmy. How can we work with our wombs to manifest and dream into being this new earth that we know is coming here? So yeah, let's go there.
Okay, thank you. All right, so let's everybody just take a couple of really deep breaths, allowing the energy and the vibration of the conversation just kind of sink in as well. And if it feels safe, close your eyes. And take a couple of really deep breaths, breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the mouth. And really allowing each breath to bring you more fully into your body temple, into the present moment, and into the sacred container that's being created here for us. And if it feels good, you are welcome to place your hands over your womb space and just kind of feel the warmth from your palms against your lower belly. And as you keep breathing deeply, allow your awareness to go inwards and connect with your womb. And again, you can smile at your womb space. Say hello to her. And take a few breaths in and out of your womb. Just imagine the breath flowing into your womb and out of your womb. Already starting to shift the energies inside, allowing your sacred breath to bring in healing and nurturance. And then imagine with your mind's eye, in the beautiful velvety darkness of your womb space, see this beautiful glow, this reddish orangey glow, gentle, soft, starting to emanate from deep within your womb space. And allow this glow to strengthen, to become stronger, become more amplified. Feel it filling up your whole womb space. This warmth, this beautiful soft energy from this glow, feel it just swirling around inside your womb space. And then imagine this glow from your womb start to expand downwards, down towards Mother Earth. With each breath, just feel it expand further and further, burrow deeper into the rich soil of Mother Earth, and expand all the way to the very core of Mother Earth, her womb. And inside the very core of Mother Earth, there's this beautiful quartz crystal pulsating with the most nourishing energy of love. And as you breathe in, you are breathing in this energy from the core of Mother Earth through this column formed by this glow from your womb. Just breathe this energy in, up into your own womb space, and feel it nourish and nurture you. And just feel how every time you breathe in, you are breathing in these nourishing energies. And as you breathe out, you are welcome to release something that no longer serves into Mother Earth. She doesn't mind. You cannot hurt her. She will welcome this energy and transmute it for something that is beautiful and powerful. And then allow this glow from within your womb space to expand upwards, all the way up, past treetops, past clouds, all the way up into space. Allow it to expand all the way through to the great primordial black hole, the great cosmic womb. And as you breathe, start to bring down this energy of expansiveness, this energy of possibility, this energy of creation, and breathe it straight down into your womb. And for a moment, just tune into your womb and feel these energies, your own energy, the energy from Mother Earth and the energy from the great cosmic womb, swirling inside your womb, clearing and cleansing, healing, opening your womb up to new possibilities. And now as you focus on your womb again, notice how these whirling energies are starting to form into a beautiful golden seed. This is the seed of the new earth. And as you focus on this seed, Just allow the vibration of the new earth, those elements that you wish to see in the new earth, start to concentrate inside the seed. Feel it fill up with the vibration of love and compassion and forgiveness, of unity, sacred collaboration, sacred creation, the knowing that we are all one. Allow it all just to become concentrated inside the seed, and feel how this seed grows in power, grows in vibration as you feed it with this beautiful vibrational energy. And then plant the seed inside your womb space, exactly where it needs to go. Just imagine that you are planting it in this velvety, rich soil of your womb. And for a moment, just breathe into that seed, showering it with love, irrigating it with love and compassion. And knowing that in this deep, feminine, magical space, in this darkness, that is the beginning of all life. Your seed will start to sprout and grow strong roots and turn into the most magnificent flower or plant or tree that will be your guide and your symbol for the new earth. Knowing that it will germinate inside the womb space and grow exactly at the right time. And take a couple more deep breaths. And then start to bring yourself back into the room that you are in, taking in the sounds that you might be hearing around you, perhaps wiggling your fingers and your toes a little bit, allowing your body to move or sway. And when it feels right, open your eyes.
Thank you. Beautiful. I love that rich, dark, velvety womb space. And you have that velvety voice, so it's beautiful. Thank you, Emmy. Thank you. So happy to have you with us again this year.
Thank you.
Now, I know you have a way that women can work with you. You have an offer to share with us. So tell us about that.
Absolutely. So there's two different offers. There's a free gift for everybody, which is a beautiful transmission from the wise old crone, something that you mentioned earlier on as well already. And it's called You Are a Miracle. And it really is an activation, a meditative activation for you to remember who you truly are, to remember your power and your beauty. And then I also have an offering, a program that was really birthed as a response to the seemingly overwhelming fear that really seemed to envelop our planet for the past couple of years. This constant fear and this uncertainty and this doubt. And this program is called Fearless, Cultivating Courage, Compassion, and Love. And it really is, I would say, a collection of beautiful energy tools that you can utilize anytime, any day, for you to come back into a more grounded space, to shift from fear into love, to shift from judgment into compassion, and to really shift from this sense of powerlessness and helplessness into courage. And it contains these embodiment practices that involve either the voice or the body to bring you more deeply into your body, into your presence. It includes goddess activations that really shift and lift your vibration in a very short amount of time. And it includes an energy shifting process where I use a method called tapping or EFT to really very quickly move us from the vibration of fear and doubt and worry into a more empowered place. And it's structured into days. So you can absolutely do this over a course of a week, for example, and do 3 practices per day to allow you to move into this higher ground and into a more elevated state, no matter what is happening around you and no matter what you are experiencing.
Wow, this sounds really delicious. Thank you. What a beautiful offering. So, sisters, if you are watching this during the live run of the series, you will find the link to both Emmy's free gift and her paid offer on the page, as well as in your email. And if you're watching this during the replay, Emmy, what is do you have where would they go to find you at that point? Your website?
Yes, I've provided unique links for both of those programs that you're welcome to then post with the information for the interview. And if people are just interested in finding out more about my work, they can go to my website, which is femininerevered.com.
Great, femininerevered.com. Great. Thank you so much for being with us. I so appreciate your wisdom, your womb wisdom, and your gentle and powerful ways.
Thank you so much, Dawn, and thank you for all that you do in this world to shift the energy and the vibration. I so appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. And sisters, thank you for being here. Please, we would love to hear about your experience of this conversation and this womb activation that Emmy offered. So in the Facebook group, you'll find a post that is dedicated to this conversation. Please share with us something of your experience. We'd both love to hear that. And be sure to come to the next interview, and we will see you there. Many blessings. And again, thank you so much.